If you're 20 and she's 17, people will get very upset with you. Even in places where it's legal, where it is legal in a few places, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, and if you are 35 and she's 17, you can't be a comedian anymore. I'll tell you that.
Are you sure?
I don't know.
17. I think that's the lowest it goes in America. And you're your age? Then you would call it pedophilia.
So Theo goes on the most recent episode of the JRE, Joe Rogan Experience, and they talk about Chris D'Elia. There's a post with 1.5k upvotes. Theo Vaughn throwing strays at Dittler on the new episode of JRE.
Like a 20-year-old adult or like a 30-year-old adult? It gets exponentially creepier,
Yeah.
right? Like if you just graduated and you're 18 and your girlfriend is 17, that shit is completely normal.
Yeah.
You know, but if you're 19 and she's 17, people start to look a little sideways. That extra 12 months makes a big difference. If you're 20 and she's 17, people will get very upset with you. Even in places where it's legal, where it is legal in a few places, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, and if you are 35 and she's 17, you can't be a comedian anymore. I'll tell you that.
Are you sure?
I don't know. I don't know. Who knows? I mean, who knows, bro?
Who knows?
I don't know.
But it's weird, like what's legal versus what's okay.
So here's the funny thing about it is that people are debating whether Joe Rogan understood the joke or he was just playing along with Theo, kind of guessing he got the joke, or maybe he just did get the joke. You know, he has not invited Chris D'Elia on his show again. Spotify deleted all of Chris D'Elia's episodes from the Spotify library.
Spotify is owned by a savage of a man, and he's Swedish. He doesn't partake in any of this woke and all this shit.
A little bit.
He doesn't. He does
a little
not.
bit.
He doesn't. How? In what form?
My episodes aren't on there.
That's not good.
Yeah. My Rogan episodes aren't on there.
Oof, just got dark in
No,
here.
but
Can't find those. A lot of them you can't find, you know, specifically Alex Jones, controversial people. Maybe that's who they target the most, or keyword words. Rogan does not want any piece of him, doesn't want to interact with him, is not even trying to mention him. Theo left the King and the Sting, and he was kind of already on his way out for that year. He was missing a lot of shows. He was coming in via Zoom. Seemed like he was just not into it anymore. But when he was there, you know, he put his best.
Who's most likely to smoke crack out of this group?
You!
This is a crazy coincidence.
You look like you sell crack.
Hey, that's good. I like that. That's good.
And with his audience, it brought views to the King and the Sting. And eventually, it seemed like Brendan and Theo already knew they were going to separate. And at the same time, Chris was struggling because he got exposed. Brendan helped him out, put him also in the show, maybe also kind of like realizing he could be his replacement. But at the same time, Theo wasn't leaving yet. So it became like the King and the Sting in the wing for a little bit. But I'm sure Theo was always planning to leave. So just so happened he had to work with Chris. Maybe didn't like that. You know, it probably made him dislike Brendan a lot more. I would consider Theo being more of a stand-up guy who would take, you know, accusations like that more seriously. Maybe that's why he hasn't really been with Brendan, except for that time he said he went to his kid's birthday party. But, you know, it's more about the kid than Brendan.
Tiger's birthday is tomorrow, but we threw his birthday party yesterday, so I took the red eye to make his birthday party. Freaking Theo shows up. You know he's never missed Tiger's birthday?
Theo Vaughn?
Never missed Tiger's birthday.
There he is. I can't believe Theo showed up.
He's never missed his birthday.
Oh, I love
You little freaks.
You know, we haven't seen him since. It doesn't seem like they're talking, so who knows how their relationship is. Because they were working for a long time. You know, Chris seemed to be like the person who broke their bond. Whatever bond it was, it worked for them. They did have a show for a long time, but eventually Theo went his own separate way. But then now we talk about Joe. You know, he has this, or we have this understanding that he doesn't understand certain things, and people tell him certain joke, and it goes right over his head, his 5'6" head.
So you and he doesn't get your jokes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, good.
I don't know if we want to talk about this on air.
Oh,
Well,
we don't have, I mean,
we could just say some comics.
All right, let me check that. Really? Am I blurring his name then?
Wow, I just don't want to. There's so much drama, you know, with the
Bleep those two names and bleep the name that I just said, and when I said it the other time.
I feel like it's kind of like that thing that Bert Kreischer said. It's like, they got the comedian mind, and then we got the pedestrian brain.
A comic's brain is so different than a pedestrian's brain.
I don't know. Maybe Joe is in a higher level than all of us, and he's thinking more comedically, and maybe that joke wasn't, he just didn't understand it. Maybe he didn't get the reference, because I feel like this reference is from what Chris Elia said. And like, if they were 17 and like it kind of mirrored the same thing that Chris Elia said.
If you fuck someone under, well, let's just be conservative, 17. I think that's the lowest it goes in America. And you're your age, then you would call it pedophilia because, well, it's pedophilia. It's like looking at a sandwich and calling it a sandwich.
So I feel like that was the thing he was referencing, but maybe he understood it because of Chris, that certain comedian who, should you get canceled from comedy. But yeah, that's all we got to say.
A comic's brain is so different than a pedestrian's brain. And like what, like I can't help.
Pedestrian is so funny, by the way.
Oh,
like saying that.
I said to a woman the other day.
It's better than civilian.
Yeah.
That drives me crazy. It's like, we're not in the fucking armed force. Let's fucking relax.
There's a lot of people that overuse that
They really
civilian.
do. It's like, we are fucking so lucky we get to do this bullshit.
Yeah.
Any person on the street I respect more than even my favorite comic. Let's get that out there. Is that like we give so much less to society than a janitor.
A comic's brain is so different than a pedestrian's brain. A comic's brain is so different than a pedestrian's brain.